to look at the world at large, and I'm looking back over the history of the band, and I'm thinking, man, isn't it great that almost 40 years after the formation of Deicide, we no longer have to deal with religiously motivated violence in the world. We fixed it all. It's all
Nobody
solved.
gives nobody. It's official. Nobody gives a fuck. Took a long time for everybody not to care, man. You know.
It's crazy, man. As someone who I imagine would have been, at the forefront of having, hand wringing white Christians, tutting you all through the 90s and whatnot. Do you think we've gotten bit like I feel like we've gone better or worse in terms of like people telling people off for how to think and whatnot? I don't know.
I think the internet has fucking completely made the world a really stupid place. It's like I think it's like generational, but it's like the politicians and the religious people and all these, it's really turned into a real circus over the last 15 years, man. And I think we suffer from a lack of integrity in the world. So.
Yeah, I feel like it would almost, I think back to, shows like Jerry Springer in the 90s. And, we'd look at how the audience would behave and think, oh my God, what a bunch of animals. That's just kind of the internet now.
That's the grocery store. that's at every gas station, grocery store, and interstate highway here in the United States, man. Yeah.
Do you feel like
you can find a fight anywhere, man, in this world right now? I mean, everybody is ready to throw down, man. The world is really on edge, man. Everybody's real. I mean, it's just the way the world is the worst, I mean, with inflation and the economies of the world and that, people are angry, man.
Yeah. I feel like COVID was a great example of that because people were so intense, so pent up, and so intense. And then, obviously we were locked down for a few months. Then George Floyd happened, and it was like a match on the gasoline, just like boom, we're off.
It's like here, it's like and I'm getting ready for it because it's an election year here in the States, and it's like it turns into whatever any and every reason, man, to be able to destroy property and loot and rob and just riot and shit. I mean, people are just looking for any reason, and I think it's personally funded in that, man, because they do it religiously every election year, and that just to make whoever's sitting in the house look bad. I don't know, it's a weird thing, man. I try to stay out of the politics of it and shit, but this country, the state of Florida is a sweaty toilet seat, and the rest of the country is the toilet. Very much.
And there's the quote. Without obviously getting into your own personal beliefs, because frankly, I don't give a shit. But I'm just curious, like, from where you sit in Florida, who do you reckon's going to win?
What, the White House?
Yeah.
I'm with everybody else. I think everything is a fucking fix, man. I come from that old hippie school of shit, man, where it's like the man, you know what I mean? That shadow government shit, man. I mean, you can't say, man, I can't wrap my I as much as I hate organized religion, I hate politics. I just think politics are like everybody that discusses politics. I can just be like, you know what, you're an asshole. And I always say that politics are for assholes because it's like such a useless and wasteless fucking topic. Because no matter what, I've been hearing about change and all this shit since I was a little kid, and it's still the biggest fucking dumpster fire that it's ever been. So I just don't I'd rather, you know, take a walk or go ride my bike or do something more useful with my fucking thoughts than think about a couple old fucking dudes fucking fisticuffing behind a fucking shed somewhere. You know, I mean, it's just stupid anymore. You know, I mean, I hope the best for our country, you know, and I hope that things can turn around. And I mean, you know, you got one guy who's like, I don't even think he's alive. I don't know. I don't even know if he's breathing or not at times. When I look at him, I'm just dumbfounded as a fucking country that we would elect somebody that's so old that they can't even, you know, complete a sentence or walk. You know, I mean, it's horrible, man, and it just makes us look ridiculous as a country. And I just hope for, you know, I mean, I just hope that we can somehow try to turn things around a little bit here, you know, because it's gotten out of control. And but I, you know what, me actually, I was up in Pennsylvania this weekend. I'm looking to buy myself a house up in the mountains and get the fuck away from people, man. I don't want to know it.
Yep.
I watch about 30 seconds of the evening news and I turn the fucking shit to Seinfeld.
I stopped following it about a year ago. I just stopped following all news outlets, and my mental health improved dramatically.
It's all bullshit, man. You know what? It's all fucking bullshit. I was telling a friend of mine, he sits there and he looks and watches that Fox News horse shit. And it's like, you know, you got one that bullshits you blind, and then you got another news agency that's like trying to, you know, invoke, you know, your anger and shit. And it's like, and I told him, I said, man, all that time you're wasting on that bullshit, you could be spending it with your kids, you know? And I said, what, you know, at the end of the day, man, what's more important? Listening to somebody's fucking ruffling your feathers and stoking the flames of hatred, or fucking, you know, go and take your kid for a walk or go to the park or some shit. You know what I mean? So I said, you're wasting your shit on that stuff. So, you know what I mean? You could turn it around. Just turn it off, you know? I just don't give a fuck about it. I'd rather listen to old music or some shit, or like I say, stand around, get high, and do my fucking thing and be stupid, and, you know, internet shop and browse eBay or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's like, stop wasting your fucking mind on that shit, because no matter, you're never going to fucking change it, man. You know what I mean? I mean, you can go and vote and do your best and shit, but at the end of the day, it's that shadow government shit, man. They're going to put in that fucking, they're going to put there who they want there. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't give a fuck how much money, it's all bullshit. Dude. You can't believe a fucking thing. So do what you want. Leave me the fuck alone. And, yeah, the world works better that way. You know, when we were kids, we didn't know about politics. We didn't give a fuck about that stuff. And life was fucking great. You know, you didn't give a fuck. Let it burn. You know, that's the way I look at it now. Let this fucking thing burn. You want to burn it, burn it. You know, I can't stop you.
As someone who was born in '85, you know, and grew up and was a kid in the '90s, I remember having a sense of optimism. I don't think anyone has that these days. They're not allowed to.
Yeah, you're not allowed. You know what? You can't, you know, anymore, man. The internet dictates what you can do, say, or whatever. You got to walk on pins and needles around all these woke individuals and that. And I just don't give a fuck anymore, man. Banish me to hell. I don't give a fuck, man. You know, it's like, I'm not going to let the internet or some 12-year-old kid from New Jersey fucking dictate how I should do, look, whatever, say, and everything. And, you know, I keep my fucking beliefs and my shit to myself, man. I don't push it down anybody's throat. I mean, I write the music that I write, just like Stephen King writes the books that he writes. I just do what I do because that's just who I am. You know, I don't give a fuck what you believe in, who you have sex with, who you fucking idolize, worship, who you think you want to be. I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. Just leave me the fuck alone with it, you know? I don't come to you with it, you know, don't come to me with it.
Now, that said, though, you can say, you know, I don't come to you with it, but you are walking around with an inverted crucifix on your forehead.
Yeah. Gotta love it.
Do you get stopped much these days? Like, do people come up to you in public, or is that less of a problem?
My son's friend yesterday, I was at the supermarket, and my son's friend was standing in line behind me, and he didn't know. He thought it was me, but he couldn't tell. And the only way that he was like, he told my son, he goes, I was trying to get a look to see if I could see the cross in his forehead to see if it was your dad, because how many other people are walking around with a cross in their forehead? So, yeah, man, especially at night.
Oh dear. What, as someone who has been playing, death metal shows for ages, what is some of the wildest shit that you've seen in the crowd while you've been performing?
I've seen the most stupidest shit. I've seen people having sex. I've seen people's their fingers snap back, broken off. I've seen gases in the face. I've seen people hit the ground, not get back up. They have to scoop them off the ground like a hockey player on the ice, man, and shovel all the blood off the ground. And I've seen it all, man. I've seen people leaping off of balconies and breaking femurs, and I've seen people die. I've seen, everything that a person could possibly see, and I've seen it.
Oh, damn. What was you so you've seen people, so you found out afterwards that they died, or was it pretty obvious
Oh
that they?
yeah, yeah. I've seen people die, man. Yeah. I
Oh,
don't want
man.
to. I don't want to go into details because I don't want to bring up anybody's fucking, pain or anything like that. But yeah, I've seen people, die unnecessarily die.
Damn,
You
man.
know,
So
this isn't the kind of thing where, man, you don't show up to a show like this and get so intoxicated that you can barely function and then get in the pit. I mean, that's how you get hurt. You know what I mean? And some people, I guess, they just get a little carried away with the alcohol, and then they get in there and they take a head injury, and it's that easy, man.
mm. The video for Sever the Tongue is, quite predictably intense for day for DEICIDE. What would you ever consider doing work in horror movies?
Like I say, if you call, I'm open.
Do you
Yeah,
have any
I've been
recent
scared.
favorite,
I've been scaring people in the dark for my whole life. I mean, might as well get paid for it, I guess.
do you have any recent favorites?
Of what?
Horror movies.
Oh shit, man! I haven't seen a good movie. I I come from the old school shit like Reanimator and all that kind of shit, Night of the Demons and stuff. I come from that day and age of that '80s, horror flick shit, and I haven't seen anything like the new stuff. I mean, you got these movies, Annabelle and The Conjuring, and all this bullshit. I just don't buy into the newer shit, man. I haven't seen anything. I mean, please, if there's something great, throw it at me. I want to see it.
Yeah. There
Everything's a fucking remake anymore, man. They want to remake everything. It's horrible.
there is one that you may find interesting if you're a fan of 80s slashes. There is a movie I have not seen it. So I've only seen the trailer called Of a Violent Nature, and it's a slasher movie, but it's shot entirely from the perspective like follow the camera is just following the protagonist for the entire film, and he's just this
Right?
silent Jason type who doesn't talk, and so it's just following him for the entire film, and
I don't
occasionally
know, man. Yeah,
just murdering backpack.
low budget, low budget.
Yeah, yeah. Mate, your voice is in great shape these days.
Yeah.
Mate, what do you attribute that to? Because I mean, from the people coming up in the Florida scene, like, why is your voice sound great and Chris Barnes is unfortunately dealing with the issues that he has?
Oh, poor Chris, man. Um, yeah, man, I'm a different kind of a singer, and I've tried to tell this to people, and that I'm not just I sing from my diaphragm, and I use more of an I apply like how an opera singer would propel himself. That's how I project my voice is from my diaphragm, and I just use my voice as a to change the pitch and the tone and like to hit high screams and stuff like that. So I like I say, man, I quit smoking almost 20 years ago. I road bike, I trail bike. I don't eat carbs anymore. I gave up processed foods, and yeah, man, I just, you know what? I don't know if it's about, if it's all, if it has any of that shit has anything to do with it or just genetics, what, but I come from a family of screaming people, man, a bunch of loudmouth Italian Germans, man. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I don't know, man. I, for some reason, sound more diabolical today than I did, yesterday. And I'm okay with that.
I feel like with the diaphragm style of singing, I feel like you've worked with Barney Greenway before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a certain similarity to the way you guys do business.
Well, you got to throw it out, man. You know what I mean? You can't if you only project from your throat, that's, I mean, you get more of that sound. You know what I mean? You're not getting an intense. You can tell when somebody's belting it out. You know, and when somebody's just doing a controlled low vocal. And
Mm.
me, I throw it out, man. I have to do it like that because like when I play and sing, it's like when I play and sing at the same time, it's completely different. Standing in front of a microphone singing is completely different than playing your bass and singing. So it's like a different, you're projecting differently in that. So I love working in the studio, especially this time around, man, because I was able to like take my time and do one song a day and experiment and pick things and lay multiple tracks of lows and highs and mids and trying different tones with my voice and that. So we had a good time, man. It was it came out really well. Everybody's was telling me that it's probably some of my best vocal work in a long time. So
Yeah, man. Do you have
not under pressure, man? You can do a lot when you're not being pressured, man. You know what? It's like you're just having fun. It's that's for me. That's how it was.
Do you have any plans to tour Australia?
That's being talked about right now, from what I understand. There's some new agent or down there, promoters or something down there that are talking to our people. So it'd be fun, man. Because the last time I was down there, I didn't have a very good time. It was when I was going for a custody battle for my younger son. So I had really, man, it was the worst 2 weeks of my life sitting there waiting to get back home so I could go get a court order and go get my kid, man. So. Yeah, so it wasn't one of the so because the first like I said, I enjoy going down there, man. It's that plane ride's not the greatest, but once you get there, man, it's amazing, man. The seafood and yeah, man, it's great. I dig it.
Awesome.
It's a really good weed. You guys get that purple haze shit down there, man. Some good shit, man.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait, Glenn. I'm so happy.
It's the best.
I've got a few months to wait, and then I'm in.
I love it. Giving me a weed card was giving me a license to really do myself. I love it, man. It's just went up to PA and they don't reciprocate on the weed card, so I had to drive up in the New York State to the reservation and buy weed there, and man, it was really good, cheap, man. It was great. Riding through the mountains and shit, getting high as fuck. It was great.
Love it.
Seeing all the groundhogs scratching their asses and the deer running around playing. It was pretty cool.
Awesome. Glenn, this has been mad. Thank you very much for your time today, dude. I'd say take it easy, but I feel like you're gonna.
I got it all, buddy. Thank you, man. Take care.